Good Wednesday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video driven by 802cars.com. It represents 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Big picture, at large, this is the upper level system that's going to be slowly working its way and dropping into our region. It's going to be spreading rain at first along its most eastern periphery. That'll work in basically late overnight and into the morning hours on Thursday. That'll continue to fall. And then we're also looking at snow that's going to be pushing into the region, and that's going to be the main event. And we are looking at some wet snow loading as amounts indicated to be fairly healthy. There'll be a little bit of some of this moisture being able to be tapped into the system. And as a surface low develops off the southern New England coast, it kind of spins and works into the Gulf of Maine before exiting east. This is going to have a lot of inflow, much like this weather system is spinning here. We're going to see that easterly kind of flow across the northern periphery, and that's going to be lining up very nicely for parts of the Berkshires, the southern and central Green Mountains, a little bit less so on the northern side of Vermont because of the White Mountains also interacting and producing a little bit more of a snow or rain shadow. Now that system will be the main event for this week, and it really looks like it's going to start to produce that rain during the morning hours on Thursday. That switch over to transitions of snow will start at the southern Green Mountain tops and then come down to the valley floors. Most healthiest snowfall amounts will likely be across the elevated terrain of the central and northern Green Mountains, and many elevated areas above about 1,000 feet. Down on the valley floors itself, some wet snow will still continue to fall, mostly on grassy surfaces, as temperatures will be a little bit closer to marginal. We're talking about temperatures most of the time around, say, the mid and maybe some upper 30s. This is the European model, and we're looking at, of course, precipitation here. The blue lines are the 0-degree isotherms at about 850 hectopascals, or approximately about the same height of the top of Mount Mansfield, and this usually indicates rain versus snow. This will be rain showers as it moves on in. This is our upper level system here. Running the model, and we can see that little tiny bits of precipitation do try to make it across Vermont. And there was actually a couple showers in southern parts of Vermont that have since dried up. Now, this is valid this evening. We have a little bit of shower activity start to develop. This upper level system is starting to interact and pull in a little bit more moisture. But this is the gravy train here. We start to see better than 0.2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or even higher start to work on in across parts of eastern New York and spread into western Vermont. That's going to take place during the morning hours on Thursday, and eventually it gets all the way up into the Northeast Kingdom. But it takes most of the day to arrive in places like Canaan. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're starting to see a little bit colder air begin to wrap into the region, and this colder air will then start to switch that, transition that rain to snowfall in our highest elevations of the southern Green Mountains, and then continually down lower and lower and lower as we get into Thursday night and Friday. This is Friday. You can see a surface low is kind of bringing a nice fetch across parts of Vermont here, and so there could be a mesoscale band of potentially some moderate, even heavy snowfall developing in the Berkshires and then sort of working its way northward. The area that see the least amount of precipitation with the storm and likely no issues or impacts for wet snow loading will be the Northeast Kingdom. Continuing along, this is Friday. That system is going to continue but then dry out, and we start to see some breaks develop and some lingering minor amounts of precipitation. That pulls away on Saturday. We have 2 good dry days for this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday. A lot of cloud cover left over on Saturday, and then continuing on Sunday, we're looking at drier weather. Some rain showers, a little bit of an upper level disturbance that kind of works across parts of the Ohio Valley, the eastern Great Lakes, and a little bit west of the state of Vermont. It doesn't really get in, so it kind of falls apart and dries up. That'll take place as we get into Sunday night. And then by Monday, though, a little bit more of an uptick here with the little bit cold pool aloft working across parts of the Northeast and activating some rain shower activity as it looks right now. Beyond the period, this is going to be one of these elongated frontal boundaries. Sometimes these can set up across the region and produce kind of a combination of snow, maybe on the southern part of Vermont, so a little bit of rain. Too early to get detailed on, but this is beyond the period. We're talking Tuesday night here into Wednesday, and then that kind of pulls away according to that. But we have a a little bit busier weather pattern, but no real big storms compared to the one we're looking at here. That's going to as close as Thursday night into Friday with the potential for wet snow loading. This is 3-hourly QPF of the Jeffs or GFS ensemble. And you can see the main event here. A little bit of rain showers come in, a little bit of a back off. This is centered again on Montpelier, Vermont, and then the main storm system. And then we do dry out just a little bit over the weekend. The GEFS ensemble there continues a kind of an unsettled pattern with very light amounts of precipitation. Now you put it all together, it's a fairly healthy storm. This is a decent amount of QPF. As you can see here, we're talking greater than 1-inch amounts through the storm. And then beyond the storm, we do level out, of course, using the black line or about the average. This is the most recent model run, the blue line, which is even a little bit heftier, between 1 and 1.5 inches. So as advertised, the Weather Prediction Center 7-day quantitative precipitation forecast or accumulated precip, greater than 2-inch amounts, mainly in parts of the Albany-Schenectady area over to the Berkshires and into southern Vermont. This would be the main target zone, especially the higher terrain. And as you head north, less and less and less. We're a little bit less than 1-inch amounts with the blue line here. This is a 1/2 inch, and that's 1/4 of an inch. So areas up here will remain dry. This is mainly kind of a sort of interior New England, fairly focused storm. Climate reanalyzer showing above normal temperatures today. Temperatures running about 65-ish or so in Vermont. Very, very fine day. Get out there and enjoy it if you have that opportunity before things begin to go the other way. 2-meter temperature centered on Montpelier. And looking at dew points are here. And that'll be followed by the 850 hectopascal temperatures. And you can see it dips below the 0 degrees centigrade line. This is cold enough to snow and so forth. Warm enough for a little bit of rain here in the longer range. And precipitation type. Mostly snow. Moss output statistics for daytime highs the next 5 days. On average will be running a little cool, 6 degrees below normal. That's a big switch, of course, and near normal up in Quebec. 3 days later, see a little bit of a warming process and a little bit closer to neutral as temperatures moderate upward as we get into the early part of next week, but still much cooler than what we've been seeing. A big West Coast warm-up indicated. And one last look here as rain begins to move in. This is valid tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock in the morning. Hasn't started raining really in the rest of Vermont, but that will overspread the region like this. And note, as we get into the late part of the day, this is about 5 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, Thursday. We're looking at a little bit of wet snow beginning to show up. And watch the transition here. It's rather quick as we start to see it in the mountains. And it continues. This, by the way, is moderate to heavy snowfall. Moderate to heavy snowfall everywhere overnight, Thursday night. That's valid 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday. It looks like it backs off a little bit as we get toward 5 a.m. A little bit of another uptick across parts of New Hampshire. And then you can see the trends. At weekends, this is valid by around 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday evening. And then the system begins to pull away during Friday evening into Friday night. And by Saturday, we're back into drier weather. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.